CHERIE SIVIGNON Last updated 1536, October 2, 2017. Tasman Rugby Union Chief Executive Tony Lewis and Nelson Regional Development Agency Chief Executive Mark Rawson with plans for the 20,000-plus seating for the All Blacks match. It may have taken a captain's call, but local rugby fans have 80,000 reasons to smile. Tasman Mayor Richard Kempthorne has used his casting vote to approve an $80,000 contribution from the Tasman District Council towards the seating for next year's All Blacks Test match in Nelson. Councillors were split on a request from Tasman Rugby Union, the TTC make up an $80,000 shortfall in the seating budget to fit out Trafalgar Park, giving it a 20,000-plus seating capacity for the match against Argentina on September 8. CR Stuart Bryan says financial support from Tasman District Council for a planned All Blacks match in Nelson is not core business. True Chief Executive Tony Lewis last week told councillors the group behind the bid for the match believed there would be 1.6 million eyeballs on the day watching it on TV. We've calculated about 200 million to 300 million worldwide, Lewis said. It will be the #1 event in this country, and probably Australasia in that time zone, and it's a great opportunity to showcase what this region's got to offer. Read more. Nelson to host first ever All Blacks Test as Christchurch misses out again. Behind the scenes, backers bring All Blacks to Nelson. Trafalgar Park groundwork underway for Nelson's All Blacks debut. The proposal to New Zealand Rugby was for a week-long experience. It was not the normal test match in Auckland, where attendees flew in for the game and out again afterwards, Lewis said. It's something I believe the region's going to benefit from. He said the Pumas would be in the region for 6 days, the All Blacks for 8 days. A TTC report on the request for $80,000 says the match provides an opportunity for locals to attend an international rugby event. It will also build the profile of the region, the report says. The projected visitor spend from the event is $9.2 million based on the assumption that 40% of the attendees come from outside the region. The Nelson Regional Development Agency and RDA intended to use the event to profile the region before and after the event, especially to our higher-value domestic, Australian, UK and the emerging South American markets. Councillor Dean McNamara said, if the event was tipped to bring in $9.2 million, why aren't they trying harder in the commercial field to raise the funds, given that rates on affordability was a big issue? I just think council's an easy stop to get this money, he said. Deputy Mayor Tim King said a significant amount of funding was coming from commercial sponsorship. Fundamentally, it's a request to us to support the plan. I fully support it. I think it's one of those one-off events that don't come around that often, King said. Without putting dollar figures on it, it's a good idea and there's a lot of good community outcomes that flow from it. CR Stuart Bryan said the money should be able to be raised from the sponsorship community rather than coming to Joe ratepayer to fund it. Another option could be funding from the NRDA, if it's such a benefit to the region, and that's what they tell us they're doing, promoting the region. The other thing that really concerns me is that all this money, $80,000, is just for one day, one event, and then it's gone, Bryan said. We could be using that money for other projects that have a much longer benefit for the community. I'm supportive of the game and it'll probably go, but I just don't see its priority. It's not core business. CR David Ogilvie said he wanted to fully support where CR Bryan's coming from. Likewise, said CR Paul Hawkes. After the vote was tied, the mayor stepped in, casting vote for done, he said. Councillors will this week discuss a funding request from NRDA for $100,000 to help it implement its regional identity program. A report says that request is for the 201,718 year and is likely to be followed by a request as part of the long-term plan for $100,000 ongoing, in addition to $400,000 TDC pays to Nelson City Council to help fund the NRDA's work. Councillors will also discuss a funding request from the Nelson Tasman Business Trust. It initially sought $15,000, but had since been allocated $6,000 from community grants. Formal reports on both funding requests will then come back to the council for agreement. Stuff.